Good morning, everybody. Welcome back from break. This week, our project that we're going to be building from your kit is a Scribble Bot. So I'm going to play you a quick video to show you what that looks like. This video shows a lot of different ways, or shows one way you can put your Scribble Bot together. But when you go to build it yourself, there's a lot of variations that you can do to make your work and to give it a look that So we will be building the Scribble Bot in class. Your task today is to just gather up all of your materials. So you're going to need some kind of a base for the body. I'd given you a cup that you could use. If that has gotten discarded or ruined or anything like that, look around your house for some kind of empty container that you could use. Or maybe someone will let you pour something out and use a food container from or pour it into a plastic bag and then use a food container that you might have laying around. Anything for the body. I've also seen strawberry basket containers used and things like that. The next thing you're going to need to get is your markers. In the video, they had 4. We're only going to use 3. So when we put these on there, we're going to need to space them out evenly in order for it to work. You're going to need your motor kit, which is going to involve your battery case, and you can see this has a little lever to turn it off and on. You can leave it in the on position or turn it off. This is not required, but it's helpful. It helps you mount your motor on. Here's your motor. You need to be really careful with these little tabs here to make sure that you don't break them. If you'd like to wire up a switch, you have a little switch, and then you're going to need your 2 wires. If you've lost your wires, then you can just go directly onto here, and then you'll just need 1 extra piece, which you might be able to fashion with any leftover copper tape. And batteries, of course, and you're going to need some tape to put things together, your duct tape, your electrical tape. The zip ties are going to be really helpful if you still have some of those. If you don't, you can tape things on or look for a rubber band around your house. And then beyond that, you're going to need something to make your robot wobbly. And so some different things that you might want to use are a little bit of an eraser will work, or if you can cut a bigger eraser down. I have used a piece of a popsicle stick, just cut it down, but it's kind of hard to get a hole in that. And you could try using a crayon of some sort. You just need something that will stick onto your motor, but when you put it on, you're not going to put it straight on. you're going to put it, oh, my cat is coming to make an appearance here real quick. Okay, kitty, kitty, there we go. And so you're going to need something, maybe like a crayon could work. I've seen people use corks. I have also used just a little piece of cardboard that was about this size. That worked to make my my off-kilter weight. And then after that, you just need things to decorate it. So maybe you have some of your googly eyes left over. The pipe cleaners could be fun. Any leftover foam pieces you have. You can do whatever you want to decorate it and make it as creative as you want. Okay? So go ahead and spend a few minutes today gathering up all your materials into your cup so that you know that they are ready to be used tomorrow when we build our Scribble Bot. The last thing I want to show you is just a little preview of how to put your circuit together. So it would be a good idea to open up your switch here to make sure that you don't accidentally join your batteries together with the wires on the other end. So stick your batteries in the battery case. The flat end goes against the spring. Flat end, negative, goes against the spring. And then what you want to make sure you don't ever do when you have your batteries in there is to touch these two ends together. That will create your batteries, will get them really hot and they won't work, okay? The other thing you're going to need is your switch. Now, when we actually mount this to our cup, it's going to go, you might place things in a different spot, but so it doesn't, when you go to mount it, you may need some extra wire or things like that. These little wires are going to attach to here, but they're very short. So if you'd like to lengthen them, you can just be careful not to cut, but just use the edge of your scissors to really carefully create a little cut there. And you can kind of, and oops, look, I just cut off too much, and that's what happens. But if you can just really carefully and gently scrape off some of that plastic, it'll give you a little bit more to work with. Okay, and you might do what I just did, which is cut off too much, and that's okay. Just, don't cut it all the way up to here if you can help it. And then you're going to want to just twist those wires back together. And sometimes, like with our LEDs, it matters which side we connect the positive or negative to. But in the case of our Scribble Bot, it doesn't matter very much. So I'm going to stick one of these through to my switch. Okay, so you can see I made a little loop with my copper wire around one side of the switch. Now, I got to get my motor into this circuit. So that's where I'm going to come and grab one of these wires. And again, same thing. I'm just going to kind of very gently scrape off some of the plastic so that I have a little bit more room to make that connection. And this is really the trickiest part of this whole project. I'm just going to kind of slide it off with my finger. Okay, twist it around to keep the wires together. Do the same thing with the other side. Normally, if we were at school, I would have an actual wire cutter for you that does this. You might have one at home if somebody has a toolbox. But if you don't, that's fine. This works. And just pull these off. Okay. Flip it around, spin it so it stays together. Okay, so now I'm going to go from the other side here. All right. Into my motor. Now this is kind of loose and wiggly. If we were at school, we would actually put some solder on there, some heated metal, but we don't have that. So what we might want to use in this case is a little of that electrical tape. Is so handy. And just take a little piece of that off of there. A couple little pieces. And I'm going to use that just to kind of hold everything together there. Just pressing that in place. Just a way to hold that together there. Do the same thing on the other side. Slide the electrical tape in. Just kind of wrap it around that wire to help it hold on better. Okay, something like that. Now I'm going to take this side and put it on one end of my motor. Again, being careful that I don't break these little tabs off. That's very critical. And I'm just going to twist it around to get it to hold tight. Okay, you got to have a good connection there. It's got to touch in order for your robot to work. And then I'm going to make sure I'm in the off position before I finish wiring this together. So 0 is off and 1 is on. Come to this side, and maybe I can just stick this right on through here without having to peel it. But again, it's got to make sure it's touching with the electrical. Might want to do the same thing with a piece of tape, just to make sure everything stays on nice and tight. I'm just going to tape over both ends here. Okay, now let's test it out. I'm going to close my battery case, and now I'm going to turn on my motor. You can hear that going, okay? And then what's going to happen when we go to make our sort of off-center thing, you're going to put something on it that will spin. And it spins pretty fast. So I cut a little piece of foam there. I don't want to do it right in the middle because then it'll spin exactly in the middle. I want it to kind of have to wobble from side to side. So I need more weight at one end than the other. Now let's try turning it on. Okay, so there you go. That foam works great for that. Like I said, if not, try something like a little bit of an eraser. Probably don't need a piece that big. In the video you just saw, they used a piece of hot glue stick, so you can get creative. Just gonna poke a little hole in here with my scissors, and depending on the weight you use will depend on the shape, and where you put it will depend on the shape of your project. Okay. And again, when I turn it on, there it goes. And if I do something a little heavier, I probably will get more of a wobble. So tomorrow during class, we will put this all together.